Let me invite you to the third edition of the Anti-Tea Coffee House Poetry Collective here at the Cornelia Street Cafe on Friday, October 26th at 6 p.m. These poems that are going to be read by this collective is an attempt to encourage poetry of political engagement. The title of the event is News from the 99% or the 1%. Who are we? Notes from the underground. Subversive poems that challenge conventional wisdom. The collective is a rotating group, and this group is a new group of poets, including Barbara Ann Branca, David Lawton, Ptr Kozlowski, Minnie OPP, and myself. And I am the host and curator of this event. Now, I've been giving some thought to the idea of what is political poetry. The main thing in the description that we have on our flyer is subversive poetry that challenges conventional wisdom. Now, this begins to sound like all really good poetry. In other words, the poetry we select does not have to represent specific demands, represent a specific agenda, or be inspired by a topical issue or headline. Our poems should represent real voices of real people, the 99%, not the cartoons that you find in tabloids, cable TV, the blogosphere, etc. So this means that you're going to hear a wide range of poetry. On another level, a higher level, what I had in mind was Percy Bysshe Shelley's defense of poetry, which basically boils down to poetry animated by political events, a visionary poetry that inspires, shapes politics, and alters lives. Visionary poetry as an advanced guard of moral awakening. And he said poets, and in general all artists, are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Now, I tried to imagine poets that could read at this reading who are no longer here, and I made a list of poets going back to the 18th century and what poems they might have read here. So here's this list, and the poems you might have heard here, they might have been part of this poetry collective. Christopher Smart, For I Will Consider My Cat Geoffrey. Blake's London or Jerusalem, and Did Those Feet in Ancient Times. Shelley could have read Ode to the West Wind or Ozymandias. Whitman could have read A Noiseless Patient Spider. Dickinson, My Life Had Stood a Loaded Gun. Yeats might have read An Irish Airman Foresees His Death. Wallace Stevens, The Emperor of Ice Cream. T.S. Eliot, The Hollow Men. Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. E.E. Cummings, The Boys I Mean Are Not Refined, or Anyone Lived in a Pretty How Town. Now, E.E. Cummings lived on Patchen Place, not far from here, and I'm sure he did read these poems, as well as Whitman probably read in this area. W.H. Auden, As I Walked Out One Evening, Law Like Love. He also lived and worked on St. Mark's Place. Allen Ginsberg, Howl to a Sunflower. He read these poems here. Ferlinghetti, Dog, read his poems in this area of the West Village. Neruda, Fable of the Mermaid and the Drunks. Burgos, Julia de Burgos, read Nada. She lived in New York for a while. Kerouac, October in the Railroad Earth. And then Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, Joni Mitchell, all read in this area.